Hey, everybody, we got a pop up edition of Yankee and the Canuck on Orange podcast.
Podcast.
Bad. And so uh, we were having a conversation earlier, just in general. The conversation was about Columbus Day being tomorrow. Obviously, in America, it was also been described by the Joe Biden administration is Indigenous People Day, and I was having a conversation offline with Edward about Christopher Columbus. In 1492, sailed the ocean blue. Those are the stories we've heard. But with the story you never heard is that he never reached mainland America at all. What you did hear from your government and your educators is that, yeah, he just brought syphilis to the world. And so we're like, we need to have an actual podcast about this. It shouldn't take too long. It'll probably be less than an hour. But how Christopher Columbus, who wasn't even a Spaniard, he was Italian, got funding to do basically what are crusades so that they could go raid the pirate crusades so that they could go raid other territories and bring back loot as opposed to what the people who were Protestants or Protestant Christians were trying to do when they came to the Americas.
When they
So,
came to
how,
settle the
and
New
that's how,
World.
like Christopher Columbus was not ever going to be included in how the founding of the Americas happened, even though he did maybe land in Central America with one of his ships, but he wasn't on it. Go ahead, Ed.
Haiti.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead, JC.
No,
I opened.
Haiti. The island of Hispaniola, which is on many maps and acknowledged as where Columbus first landed and set foot, is now subdivided. And half of it is the Dominican Republic, and the other half is Haiti. And for what it's worth, Haiti is still about in the same place that he found it. And the Dominican Republic has progressed to the point where it's a lot more like Puerto Rico. And it's still one island, and they actually have a border wall in between the two nations. And the Dominicans, which produce a crap ton of baseball players, and this is an aside. The world's best shortstops all come from the Dominican Republic. I mean, Luis Aparicio, Omar Vizquel, all these guys, these slick fielders, and some of them can hit a little bit. I mean, Albert Pujols is from the Dominican Republic. I mean, they know how to play baseball the same way Cubans do. I mean,
Side note, and this came up during the Trump run for 47. Were you aware, because it's totally factually true, that the Dominican Republicans absolutely raise stray dogs and cats to give to Haitians because
so
Haitians
they can eat them.
eat them.
Right.
Absolutely
That's what
factually
the
true.
Haitians do. That's to stop Haitians from eating human. That's why they send the dogs and cats over there, because there's no way to stop Haitians from eating each other. And I don't mean sexually. I mean, these people, they're cannibals. They are. And that may not be politically correct, but
So
I can
these
tell
are
you,
some of the islands where, right, Columbus landed.
yes,
To
that's not the
everybody that's
United States.
never made it to the he never made it
No,
to the United States. Now, are we going to have Columbus Day tomorrow? Of course we are. Is there going to be Trump did not stop Indigenous Peoples Day tomorrow
no.
either. So you're going to have both at the same time. Go out,
I, s-
celebrate, do whatever you want. But if you're going to talk about Columbus, let's really talk about where he came from,
and
where
what he
he
did.
landed, and then he wasn't one of the Protestants that started our country in America.
No, no, far from it.
We're not
He
taught
was
that
a
though.
he
That's
was
something
an
to tell them.
Italian he was an Italian Catholic,
Yes.
Yeah.
which is why Catholics venerate him to this day. And there were statues of Columbus almost everywhere, except where Antifa and the gang have taken them all down. I mean, I consider him to be a hero. Edward, we're not joking. I mean, I consider Columbus to be a hero. No question. I mean, extraordinary courage, great, um, great adventurousness. I mean, totally
Yeah.
male and fearless. You know, no question. But he never set foot in the United States, and it wasn't close. It wasn't close. The Dominican Republic and Haiti are farther away from us than Cuba. He wasn't even within 100 miles.
Bahamas would be closer. But yeah, you know what? That's not what we're taught, though. I mean, we were just talking about that earlier, where they teach us, well, up here, anyways, that Columbus just kind of smashed into America, into the shores, got out, started handing out cigars, claiming the country to be his own type of thing. That's what we're taught. You know, it's not even close to being true from what
How would
you've
that
been.
dude have cigars left after 3 months of floating
Yeah,
across the
Oh, I
Atlantic?
shit, I'd have
they
been out
swung
of
by Cuba.
cigars in 5 days. Are you kidding? Sitting on a ship
Right?
just looking at endless water? Yeah, I mean, I'll quote Jack Sparrow, Edward. Why is the ring gone? Yeah, I mean that's where I'd be.
Well, and again, that's where, like, when you were
Jack
first talking to me tonight,
Sparrow.
that's funny. When you were first talking to me tonight, Edward, about Columbus Day, because you're like, well, I don't understand. It's Indigenous People Day or whatever it's called. Both can be the same at the same time. I am not mad at Indians, and I'm not going to take away. That's what Trump was saying. I'm not going to take away Indigenous Peoples Day implemented by the Biden administration. But we're also going to call it what it is called, Columbus Day. And the belief here is that Columbus found the New World. He did not. He did not find the New World. He found a bunch of island chains, even barrier islands that would be close to the continental United States. But and then we got to go a step further. What? So first, Columbus was unfundable in Italy. So he went to Spain and said, "Hey, I want to go explore. I'm going to go do this." And they're like, "Well, we will fund you with a 50% tariff on all goods you procure." Correct language,
And they figured
right?
they figured
And he said yes, and that's
of
why
course.
they gave him a ship and men.
And they thought that he would either die, which was a
Mhm.
very good chance, or that he would reach the Spice Islands, which is over it's Indonesia, to be honest. I mean, it's off the coast of Asia.
He's
That's
way
what
off
he was
course.
shooting for. And these folks didn't even know that North and South America were in the way. They had surmised that the world was round. Thank you, Galileo. And they figured that if you if you just set sail west, you would bump into what you were looking for as long as you could live that long and your provisions would last. These are the way men thought back then. And these guys were crazy enough to say, "Hey, why not?" I mean, I don't know how I'll charge my iPhone, but I sure as hell hope that I'll get there.
And
All
remember
right.
back, in
It's
those
really,
days,
it's really, if you just sit back and think about it, it's really breathtaking what they were doing.
yeah. But remember
And,
back
and
in those days, the Islamic community was slaughtering, Spain and Italy and countries like that, had almost taken over them completely. So, I think that timing was good and they had to do something. So I think that was just a great gamble.
No. You're right, Edward. But you got to also remember that. So Columbus, he was very poor.
Mm.
yeah,
Was not under that prospect. He was looking, of course, to enrich himself like every human wants to do. And so when Italy said no, when he went and asked the Italian government, will you fund me a boat to go explore the Americas or the New World?
to get
They
to the
said,
East Indies,
they
right? The
said,
Spice
yeah,
Islands.
well, it was the
That's
East
where the money
Indians.
was.
It was the East Indians, and they said no. So he goes to Spain, and Spain's like, listen, here's the deal. We'll do it, but you're going to give us 50% of all your loot. Loot being the correct term when I
Because
talk about
he
this.
was a frigging pirate.
He
I
was a
mean,
pirate.
we really need to connect with this. That they're talking to Captain Jack Sparrow, and I know people today don't. They're into movies, they see theater and all that sort of thing. But the swashbuckling aspect of Jack Sparrow and his pirate crew and the Black Pearl is probably as close to what Columbus was doing
Mm.
as you can think. They were looking for treasure. That's
Yes.
that's the point. And sorry, I don't mean to yell. I mean,
No, yeah. Bring
it's
me
Sunday
back
night.
gold and
No, I
silver.
mean, come on now, bring me back gold and silver. You you like you some treasure, eh, matey? But we got to remember who Columbus's contemporaries were. It wasn't William Bradford. It wasn't John Smith at Jamestown. It was Cortez. It was the friggin'
Oh, yeah.
conquistadors. It was Amerigo Vespucci. Those guys were all basically Spanish pirates who did battle at sea with Sir Francis Drake from England for supremacy of the high seas. And Spain was absolutely interested in dominating that. And Columbus seemed to be their kind of guy, especially if he can find them money that's basically free and they don't have to tax it out of their citizens, because this is the dynamic push me pull you of human existence. Is rulers want loot, they want tax revenue. Somehow along the line, North Americans had lost the concept that taxation is theft and government exists to take your money and distribute it to whoever they wish, mostly their friends, and subvert,
True.
not necessarily subvert the culture, but basically enrich themselves. That's what they're interested in, always. And
I
that's why the
see.
Chinese have such a foothold here now, because the Chinese money co ops 85% of the Congress. That's what political people are interested in, money without working for it. And so Columbus's charge was to go and get us money that we don't have to work for and bring it back here, and we'll let you keep half.
Yep.
Well, it
And
seems to
we'll
me that the
and
Catholic Church.
we'll sponsor you. That's what that was.
And it was sponsored. So in sponsoring, I'll let you go, Edward, in a minute. But it was sponsored in the fact that they financed the piratism, the ships, the fleets of Columbus.
No,
And it was at a 50%. Again, I'll use the word tariff. That whatever he
That's how the world works.
recovered on his piracy they would get. So if you want to say Columbus was a bad guy, I'll say, well, Columbus was an opportunist
You're a fucking pirate.
looking for a job. And who got looted? Other pirates. He never made it to the actual America or even North America.
He never even made it.
And here's like the problem you got with this when you look at the story, they're like the story they will tell you is that well he came to America and he gave syphilis to the entire planet.
Yeah.
You know, well, how is that actually physically even possible?
I got to tell you, I've been around, but I've never been to Haiti and Dominican Republic, so he didn't give it to me. And on top of that, ladies, I don't have it. Not that you're interested, but just as a disclaimer. And that's
I mean, not
you,
now.
little girl. If your little girl in New Zealand's watching, Edward, you can assure her I'm clean. All good.
I'll tell her. I'll pass the message
All
along.
right, thank you. Pass it along. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, going back to the Columbus and being sponsored, and in the manner in which he was, I see that the Catholic Church hasn't changed much at all or fallen far from their original founding or foundation as far as theft goes from the Christian community to begin with. And they just kept on going to where they are today. And it's by no accident, by the way, when I say that the Muslims were slaughtering, Spain and Italy, that was exactly what was going on.
It's what they do.
Yeah.
It always ends with someone getting their head cut off. I mean, I can take you to the
Well,
end.
that's how William Bradford got.
Right, that's what happens, right?
Yeah, well, that's exactly why, when you say call them the Puritans, call them the Presbyterians, whatever you want to name them. That's
best term I can give you is a separatist. They were
Yeah.
separating themselves from a government-controlled church. This is this is where the people don't get the separation. They don't get also the 150 years in history from Columbus, probably more than 150 years, to William Bradford.
Actually, more like 125.
And okay,
Right.
and what happened here? So that was conquistador, is what.
Oh,
All right. That we had of
really?
Columbus, and we had separatist coming out of William Bradford. And they're
Right.
totally two different things. And I will tell you, it's funny to me when I bring up William Bradford. A lot of people are like, "Well, the people already lived here, and they already had a way of life." And I kind of laugh and go, "Yeah,
Really?
it was a shitty way of life, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really
Like,
shitty." Oh, but
Yeah.
they had to teach the pilgrims, is the word they use, how to grow corn. No, they didn't. No, they actually didn't. And we will go through all of this
Thanksgiving.
in our Thanksgiving show and our Thanksgiving special. We will do it, but
Got to do it.
none of that is actually true. And how do I know it's well, Sean? How do you know it's true? We have the writings of the separatists. We have the books. We have the journals from them from the 1916, 18s forward. We have the writings about their interactions with the, what do you want to call them? Indians? I'll call them Indians. You want to call them indigenous people? That's
Indians
fine by
fine.
me too, because tomorrow is supposed to be Indigenous People Day.
I prefer the term savages, but that's just me.
Oh my God.
You walk when you
That's so
actually
complicated.
walk through this section of history, and we were talking about a much earlier period of history.
Edward, and let me clarify. People that are sacrificing children and virgins to angry gods are
Yeah.
savages.
I
Okay?
know. No, it's true. I
And they're
get
going
that.
through those rituals and all the stuff at the top of volcanoes and all that stuff. That
Yeah,
that
I
needed
know.
to stop. And
Oh
and
yeah.
I remember the cultural confidence of the British in the 1940s, and I envy it to a certain extent because the villagers came to an English captain and they said, "Well, her husband died. You know, our custom is that the wife is to be burned on the funeral pyre with her husband, and we're going to do that." And the English colonel said, "You follow your customs, we'll follow ours. Our custom is anyone who does that will be hung by the neck until they stop moving."
No. Yeah, very
So
good.
have at it.
Wait. You bring up a great point. Did any of the Protestants starting in 1618 do that to Indians?
No.
No, no.
That's a whole. You know what? When you talk about separating, money from us, we were running from having our heads separated from our bodies, from being cut off if we didn't follow Catholicism at the time. So we pretty much had to get out
Church
and
of
go
England.
anywhere.
Church of England.
Yeah,
Not just
Church,
Catholicism, it's Church of England.
Church of
that's
England
correct.
was far more brutal than the
Correct.
Roman Catholics. Absolutely.
Correct. I agree.
Because
But
you
that
were
came from them, though.
Edward, Edward, they were submitting to the same person that you must submit to, your king.
Well, back in that day, it was Queen Mary Bloody Hearts, and I can understand where she got the nickname from when she was burning even pregnant women at the stake, and even using Bible pages as fodder to start the fires. I mean, she was brutal, and we ran away from that type of country for the freedoms America provided. And yeah, may have only been a 25 or 30-foot canoe or boat, but we had to use something, anything. We could have taken a kayak if there was one available just to get away from that tyranny that was going on. And we had to give up our money, our houses, and everything else. And the Catholic Church took all that because we would not bend the knee or bow to
But,
Catholicism. And
but
today, well,
freedom of worship was the number one
correct. Yeah.
issue. It even superseded freedom of speech.
Yep.
It superseded the right to keep and bear arms because they debated that back and forth. It even superseded market economics because they tried socialism, which
They did.
No,
right, and of course half of them died, but they figured it out before they were all dead, like the other colonies, and they started allowing people to keep what they produced, and that's why they thrived.
Freedom
Yeah,
of
capitalism.
worshiping God has always been the most important thing to the Protestant West, including the
Yep.
United States. United States
it's
being the most focused on that.
most
But
overt.
yes, and
Yeah.
we could go through the Bill of Rights at some point in time, but even in the Bill of Rights, which came many years, about 5 years after the Constitution, because we just had to get a Constitution together and form a government because the King James III was just such an evil tyrant. We had to absolutely end that war and say,
Mhm.
well, we'll bring the Bill of Rights later. And I sent you a really great clip, Edward, about Thomas Jefferson and slavery.
Oh, yeah, that's Glenn Beck. Yeah, I did watch that. I did.
Yeah,
Again,
it's
they don't tell us
like,
that stuff up
but
here. It's
everyone
so
says,
far.
well, you guys being Americans, the founders, were all slaveholders. I said, no, they were actually all Protestants,
Idiots.
except for Massachusetts, which was Catholic. So out of
All
the
is
13 colonies,
Maryland.
now
one
you
It
see
was
who's
Maryland.
Maryland.
It was Catholic.
now you see
Now,
who's the craziest. It's Massachusetts. I know.
and,
It's in the T.
it is in the T.
Wait,
And
wait a
so
second. It was
everyone else
Mary,
was
Maryland
Protestant
was Catholic.
except for Boston, Maryland. You're right, Maryland.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the only Catholic vote you got on the Bill of Rights, Edward. And then you gotta look. You just gotta look at the totality of all of this. The entire reason, and people just today won't accept it, is that we were founded by protesters.
Yes.
Oh, but they're protesting in their little, I don't know, dragon costume or unicorn costume. That's
Furries.
not the
They're
protesting
they're
we
all
were
little
doing.
furries. They're all protesting furries. I think
Right.
they're so
That's
cute. They're
not
so
the
cute.
protesting that happened. We were
How
protesting at the time with our lives and our families' lives.
Blood.
yeah.
Blood.
I mean, everyone who signed that document, Edward, that I am going to send you the Declaration of Independence that I'd like you to circulate
Again,
in
I sent
Canada.
it to him about
Read
every
that.
Yeah,
No, we
that one.
about every month.
Everyone who signed that knew, as they signed it, that they were signing their death warrant if they were unsuccessful.
oh
And they
yeah.
were going up against the most powerful military force
In the
in the
world.
history of the world,
Yep.
Yeah.
bar none. And
Yep.
yet, here, let's take the dice. What we're talking about is so important to us that we're willing to pledge our honor, our blood, our money, our sacred honor. And I mean, how many of those guys ended up broke? How many of those guys ended up dead? It was about America. It was about what America represents. It was about the promise of a new world, a new way of looking at things. After you'd had an up close and personal look at every possible tyrannical form of government that existed in civilization, and you were smart enough to understand why it didn't work, and you put it down in one document to ward it off for all of those who followed you. That's what it was about.
And we have to look at today because we don't really philosophize like they did back in the older days. And I'm saying centuries ago, no one really reads, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and people like that. But, you have to recognize that
Are we not right
can't
here
help
on a
it.
podcast that people that do that?
You think I haven't read that stuff?
No, and I'm not attacking you. I'm saying there are still people, and I think JC's going to say the same thing. Are there not still people who do that? Because we're
All
right
the
here.
time.
Of
We're
course,
on a
we
podcast
do, but they
doing it.
wouldn't. The average person wouldn't. And my point,
They weren't the average person.
correct. And I'm just saying,
Edward, the reason that today sucks so much is because those people were elites. They
well,
were the opinion leaders, they were the thought leaders, they were the
yeah.
movers, the shakers, the legislators. They
Mhm.
were the elite class. And today we've been turned upside down because our elites have revolted against the citizens. That's the existential
Yeah, yeah,
struggle that we're in. And
I
and
agree.
and our elites are willing for their own personal gain to throw out everything that's been done to make their position in life possible. And I'm going to go back to a Mel Gibson movie. And Mel stood there and he looked at those guys and he said, "You think the people exist to give you power and position. I think your power and position exists to give them freedom. And I intend to see that they get it."
Mm-hmm.
And you could have heard a pin drop
Well,
because
Yeah.
they were all convicted. And to me, that's what Columbus Day is about. It's a combination of Jack Sparrow and his piracy and the swashbuckling adventure of finding new worlds, new lands, new frontiers, and carving something out of it that's so exceptional that it's never even been approximated in human history before or since. That's what we're fighting to preserve. And yes, our conservatives have completely failed us because none of what they were trying to conserve was conserved. So I don't want to hear crap about conservatism. Go ahead, Sean.
Time out, because I will say you're 1,000% correct about what has been considered a conservative politician since Probably 2010.
World War II.
World
Well,
War II.
okay.
Well, yeah, we could go deeper into that, but
Yeah.
at least 2010. When people look at conservatives, they look at
Oh,
Paul
yeah.
Ryan. They look at
Mike
like
Pence.
people like that. They
Oh
look at
God.
Mike Pence, and that's not any of us.
Oh,
That's
no.
not where we want to be. It I like the I just I have some like I said, family that absolutely will debate me. I had a aunt, uh, 80 plus years old, debating me. I'm turning 48 this month, and
You're so young. You're so young.
I
There's so
know,
much. Yeah.
I know.
having but we were having a great debate back and forth, and I do love that some of my families at least are willing to have some debate. I won some things. I never lost anything, but she felt she won some things.
All right.
All right, and we were going through it, and I'm totally fine with doing all of that with anybody. I will do it right here. Join us in the chat room or DM us. I've always said our email for the podcast, Sean Strom at Gmail. Send it to me there. I'll respond to you.
Easy to remember.
I will it won't be right away, but I will absolutely respond to you.
Let me clarify. We're not talking about SEAN, Sean. We're not talking about SHAWN, Sean. We're talking about the real way to spell it, which is SHAUN, as in Nancy, Strom at
Yes,
gmail.com.
at Gmail. That's the email for podcast. 100% thank you. So I'm super
You know what?
glad
That's kind of almost.
some of my relatives who are super, super liberal or they at least keep the conversation open. That's really cool. That being said, when I see what's going on online, and then when we talk about Edward Columbus Day, the totality of the internet goes to Mr. Syphilis guy, and I told you he never even hit mainland North America. How could he have possibly given everybody in America syphilis?
But keep in mind, that absolute characterization of him is probably one reason why they haven't tried to hijack it for the trans. So we should give thanks for that, right? We, we want to
No,
keep
absolutely
keep
do.
denigrating him as a sexual deviant. So we don't want to pollute that with actual deviance. Right, yeah, okay. I got it. You guys are smart like that.
No, right? Oh my
I have
God. Yeah.
Edward, when you put it in the longitudinal view of Rush, it all makes sense, doesn't it? Everything evolves from something else. And
Love
when
Rush.
you think about Columbus, as Sean is saying, think about Jack Sparrow, because that's who he was. And he landed in a foreign land. He had no idea what was going on. He ran into a bunch of natives, savages, whatever you want to call them, and he interacted with.
Why would savages really want to have sex with this guy if he was a savage?
Because he had a boat. Don't they always want to have sex with guys that have boats?
Not cars.
I mean, you're going to disappoint a lot of men who are buying boats if you're going to tell me that you can't get sex with a boat.
I mean,
there weren't any cars back then that I'm aware of.
Well, but there's so much truth in the sarcasm we're bringing because I think that's where we're at. Why would you want to have sex with a skeezy dude? Oh, he's got a boat.
He's exotic and he's different. And you're the one for him. You're the one that can tame this wild pirate that landed on your shores, and he'll love you forever.
Human being.
See, now we're going into human behavior. And one other thing that I've said a few times, and no one ever listens to it, but I'm going to say it again. When you read the Bible, the thing that sticks out to me is how much the ancient Israelites act just like we do today. While our technology has advanced how many thousands of times, our morality and human nature is the same as it
Yes.
has ever been.
Yes.
That's why when you read a story like that, it has the ring of truth. And back in the biblical
Wow.
times, elites were about enriching themselves, and Christ was a threat to their enrichment of themselves because there was someone else to follow. So he had to be silenced, and it turned out the only way to silence him was to kill him. And we just watched Charlie Kirk suffer the same threat for the same reason. And history
Yeah.
rhymes. I'm not saying he was Jesus
True.
Christ. I'm saying that the human natural forces that took him out were identical to what happened to the Christ himself.
Oh, I was
Yeah,
waiting.
I
was waiting for
concur
Edward to jump
100%.
in.
Yeah, because it's actually,
Edward, jump in. I was
just
waiting for you to
did.
jump in.
Can you not hear me?
We can now.
heard
Go
you.
ahead.
I
No,
heard
did
you.
you not hear me when I said that? Oh, thank God. I mean, on and off, on and off. That's so annoying. Yeah, no, and although, like you say, he wasn't Jesus, he was just a spokesman for him, which I would say, well, but for the same reasons and the same, bloodthirsty hearts that these scoundrels or pirates, have, exactly the same as it was back then. Our fallen nature hasn't gotten any better, so we're still back
Oh,
in the same spot.
in fact, I
One of
think it's worse.
repentance and one of turning about it. Well, yeah, but in most, I guess in some cases, it really much
No,
is,
we've got so
depending on what
much
you're
less.
talking about.
We've got so much less religious conviction governing human behavior right now that it is worse. It is,
Yeah, it's almost.
and I've said 1,000 times. If I'll say it once, and I'll say it again, our ancestors lived through the Great Depression. We're living through the Great Corruption. I
Mm.
Oh
mean,
yeah,
we are finding corruption under every rock. I mean, the thing that
no,
I
it's
look
true.
at Trump,
Everywhere you
I
look.
look at Trump, and you say we're going to investigate this, we're going to investigate this. How the hell many investigators do you have? How can you
I,
possibly investigate everything that's going on? How can you get to the bottom of this H-1B bullshit? How can you get
well,
to the
yeah.
bottom of all of it? Is there any hope at all?
Let's
And
just start with the banks.
obviously,
Even can we just start
only
with the
Edward. I'm going to make you happy. Only in the risen Lord, the Lord that Martin Luther wrote about in his explanation of the Ten Commandments and the Apostles' Creed, which I would recommend to you as much as I recommend the Holy Bible itself. All right.
Mhm. Yeah. And I got to say, Martin Luther did a lot of good works. He didn't follow everything through that he talked about, which I'm kind of, sad the church didn't. But we did finally find our independence from that when we found America, or they found America. When
Right.
we are
Right.
now here,
Well,
but
he lit the flame.
exactly, and we have to be thankful for that, which is why we have Thanksgiving, because we truly are thankful for that. Never mind just the food, boys, but
Oh, just wait. We'll do it, boys. We will totally do the Thanksgiving show of William Bradford's first
the real
Thanksgiving.
founding of America, if you ask me.
I'll do it. I'll do it all by myself if I have to. It's fine. If you guys
I'll
want to be
help.
here, I would
I'll,
love it.
I'll
No,
be here.
it's
I'll
great.
be here and listen, and I might say something. Good heavens.
Eh, I mean, yeah, you could do that. It's totally fine. But when we get there, we will totally. It's a teaser. I know
All right.
Thanksgiving's over a month away, but we'll totally do it by ourselves. We won't
I'm
do.
already I'm, I'm already hungry. So yeah, let's go.
Yeah, but then again, so we're getting back to Columbus, not a founder of the New World. He was a pirate sent
Pirate.
by Spain.
It's
How
funny
The
how
did you
you.
know?
people that came to the New World were fleeing religious persecution from either the Church of England, and it was mostly the Church of England,
Yeah,
Yes.
or the Catholics.
but that was
The
the same
English,
back then,
the,
though.
the,
That was
the
the same.
British, the British have a history of brutality to their subjects,
Yes.
the subjects of the crown,
Yeah.
and they tend to deny rights to colonists. All right. And you try to
Yes.
claim the rights of Englishmen, and they say, well, you're a colonist. You know, you
Mm.
don't have that. You will bow before your king. You will submit.
You are a subject
Right.
Correct.
of the
British
king.
subject. Still to this
Of
day.
the
Or,
crown.
or at some point in time, queen, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And a lot of people, so most recent queen, right? Elizabeth, a lot of people really adored her because she was the TV queen.
Yeah, I guess.
Right.
Yeah,
She
I
still,
don't know.
no, but hear me out. She still had subjects.
Of course.
Yes.
All of us to her, except for Americans, Canada, Australia, even at some point in time before Singapore
Hong
was
Kong.
finally free, Hong Kong, it was free, were subjects of the Queen. They
Even
were
India.
subjects. They
Even
were
India was
serfs.
the crown jewel
Oh,
of
India was totally
yeah.
Oh,
Don't
right.
forget them guys.
yeah.
I mean, look at
I
the
mean,
mess they got them in.
India wasn't just subject; they were subjugated. I mean,
Uh-huh.
they were absolutely regarded as primitive, no doubt.
And I'm so glad that you know what we have an opportunity here in Canada to get away from the crown. If we, actually did join up somehow with America and our independence, if I could just find a copy of that Constitution somewhere, the American country, where can I find? Oh, I know. I have this friend in Missouri somewhere
You,
who has
you,
that.
you need to go the opposite direction of what we did. We did Constitution and Bill of Rights. You guys in Canada need to do a Bill of Rights first, which would
Right.
cause a constitution.
Yes, it would cause a constitutional convention. That would be the outcome. Tell them you're claiming these rights,
We
and
just
then there
need,
would be a
yes,
crisis, and then you could map out your new system of government and tell them that they can like it or lump it.
but that
That would be
still
the
is
way to do it. That would be the way to do it.
that is still some declaration we'd be signing, and handing over and saying this is
That's
where we
fine.
stand. I can go. I can do no more. That's Martin Luther. Here I stand.
No, but
It'd be perfect.
do that. It has to be done because you guys are still even though you have quote unquote your own government, you're still subjects of
Right,
the
right.
crown.
Mark Carney,
Exactly.
Mark Carney
Like,
is your
like,
government, right? Yeah.
and you could absolutely
Mhm.
not have a constitution first. You could have the Bill of Rights first, and that's my proposal. Is you say these are our rights as human beings. At least, like after the 10th Amendment, we could argue the
Negotiate.
first 10 amendments
Are
of the
mandatory.
U.S. Bill of Rights are mandatory, which negates their government.
Can we
Right.
get rid
And
of
then
that?
go, since we no longer agree that we can have your government, the crown, leading us because of these first 10 bills of rights, then we're going to form our own constitutional government.
Republic? Yes.
And Edward,
Yes.
the TNT is in Amendment 10, which
Mhm.
says the powers not expressly given to the federal government are reserved for the people.
Yep.
Can we get rid of?
And you can't get around it.
Can we get rid of the 19th Amendment somehow?
No, I'm giving you the first 10.
No, the
You
19th
should
Amendment.
like
We're gonna write.
if a new nation is looking, and JC, back me up on this, or maybe tell me I'm a retard. If a country wants to look at founding themselves with a constitutional republic, the first 10 amendments or the Bill of Rights, which came after the Constitution, we'll get into that later historically,
That's
is
fine.
what you need. You can go from there.
No,
Right.
of course, I
And
agree.
and Edward, the only way that I would agree to Amendment 19 is if your little New Zealand girl asked me, and I don't think she's going to. So
Hey,
I
Edward,
turn thumbs
Edward,
down.
by the way, did you know the Libertarian Party in all of the West wishes that America would repeal the 19th Amendment
Well,
because
it's
they think white liberal women are retarded
they are though. They're
and
not
should
wrong.
not be allowed to vote, and they're willing, hold it, hear me out. They are willing to give up their right to vote so that white liberal women are not allowed to vote.
You know what? White women back in those days didn't even want to participate in the voting. The
No, no,
men made that happen.
yeah. Hold on, hold on. Did you understand what the vote was from in a Christian perspective when the country was founded? Was that the father votes for the entire family?
Yes, of
Right.
They
course.
don't like that. They obviously that's 19th Amendment.
Well, I
Yeah,
can't say
yeah.
no.
Give
Many
give
women
wo
did.
and there was, other things. 19th Amendment wasn't just women, it was, people of
Suffrage.
color. It was
Suffrage.
and
Yes,
that's
yes.
okay, women's suffrage, that's okay. Everyone that's listening to us, like, that's not the argument we're making. It was
No, I know. I'm
white
just
women. White women is what we're arguing about.
Well,
It
right.
it
I mean, obviously, any women that are expats from communist countries are more than welcome to vote. It's white privileged women.
and isn't that backwards?
White suburban women, the very
Ah,
people that
there you
we
go.
always hear about,
There it is.
are the
Yeah.
issue. And I have to give Trump a lot of credit for, and Charlie Kirk and the other people that put together the alliance with RFK, because Trump managed to peel off the smart ones. But
Mhm.
the other ones make a lot of noise, and they are,
Yeah.
can I say it? They're dumb fucks. Okay, I mean, they honestly don't even know what they're saying.
And you know what?
Edward, they've still got signs in their yard saying, "Thanks, Dr. Fauci."
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But that's like
You,
I said, the white urban.
Wait,
no,
well, back to the topic of the space.
No,
They
I know. Oh,
think
that's right.
yeah.
Thanks,
Christopher
Dr. Science. Right.
Columbus gave them all syphilis.
Yeah. Oh, they believe that too. I
Yeah.
mean,
And Christopher Columbus never,
touched.
ever reached the mainland.
I guarantee you, he never touched a white woman when he made it
Nope.
to the New World. No, he did not do that.
But
They were
however,
brown. They were brown and charcoal black, if they were anything. All right,
they would
because
be
that's who lived there.
the
I
voodoo
know where
witch
he
doctor
was.
in it from Haiti is
And
what he got. He hooked up with them.
Sean, this is such an incredibly important point, that people lump Columbus, and we haven't said it out loud, so I'm just going to say it. We lump Columbus in with the Pilgrims and the other people who discovered the nation, who founded the
He
nation.
should never be
I know.
Never.
entitled to that.
No.
He does not belong in that group. He is of a completely different character. He is a pirate. Okay. And while
Yeah.
we can celebrate his adventurousness and his Italianness and his gung ho and all the other crap that we love about Italian directors of operations and all the rest of that, and that they're willing to get things done and they put shit together, the idea that he founded this nation is obscene.
I gotta
He
say,
did not.
you know what?
He did not. In fact, he didn't even name this nation. That was Amerigo Vespucci, another conquistador, a friend of his probably. Cortez. You know what he did? He put
Cortez.
Hernando Cortez,
He robbed them.
Balboa. I mean, these guys were the worst of the worst. I mean, they make
Uh-huh.
the Islamic sultans look
True.
like rookies.
And the
I mean,
Vikings.
with the amount of slaughter and shit that they did to get rich, I mean, they were
I know.
just beyond the pale. They'd slit your throat as soon as look at you.
And this is
And
why.
that's the cloth that Columbus was cut from. He
And I gotta
doesn't
tell
have
you,
dick to do with the founding of America.
Gentlemen, I got to tell you that's true, and that's why I say I'll always be more of a Greek-sided person than Latin. I have to say
You
dead set
keep
and
using the wrong alphabet. I'm telling you, man. You're just cruising for Bruce. All right.
yeah, I got to say I'm still with the more Greek-sided, educated way of looking at things. And I'm talking language. I don't care if you look at the from English to German, which came from German anyways. That type of side of things is more what I follow, what more I'm like than the falsified.
The Germans saw themselves as the new Greeks, right, Edward? The most
Well, actually,
educated,
that's
the
probably
most
not
this.
far off from you.
Well, yeah, but then didn't they end up being Nazis? I mean, education is not a substitute for a
Um,
moral compass. All
not
right,
all.
it's not. It's not. And we can venerate humanism or whatever you want to talk about, but without a spiritual guide, it's frigging useless, and it always turns to crap.
And
Go ahead.
on that, again, the entire reason the New World, which is now America, was founded was because of protesters,
Right.
Protestants who wanted to celebrate God and not be stuck in a church that was run by a government. And that
And
church,
run and run for
hold on. That church doesn't necessarily have to be Christian. It could be totally political. It could be socialism. It could be communism. It could be any, and we see this a lot
whoa,
in America now, where
yeah.
people they're like, I'm not. I don't really like. I acknowledge God, but like they'll flat out tell you, my religion is my government, right? And that's abuse.
They're usually not that honest. But it is the main reason why most lefties are unable to criticize their own. Because since it's their religion, the last thing they're going to do is tell you that their high priests are making an error. That's why you can never get a left winger to tell you that Pelosi's off base or that Bernie Sanders is a
True.
fraud. They won't do it. They
Another,
won't do
yeah.
it. They just go silent, and then they try to figure out ways to silence you. That's how
Well,
they operate.
socialism is a religion, right?
Absolutely.
Am I wrong?
It's a political religion. That's exactly what it
And,
is.
and what they don't know about this religion is that once they get their way, even the elite, the rich,
Yeah.
the Mark Rufos or the people like that that have $82 million from capitalism and making movies and look good. Some of them were good movies. Some of them were
That's one. Yeah.
shit,
Great.
shit movies. Is that they don't realize, they just don't realize that eventually you run out of money and they're going to take yours too, Mark
And
Rufo.
not only will they take
Oh,
your
yeah.
money, but they'll take your life. And the fact is that
Oh, yeah.
the socialist road of utopia, the end point is Jonestown. That's where it always ends up. The same way that the
That's the end game.
Islamofascists, the same way that Islamic radicals are going to hack your head off, the socialist utopians are going to eventually arrange for your demise because you're too hard to care for, and they don't want to account for it because they're too worried about themselves. And human
Correct.
nature never changes, folks. If someone promises you a free lunch because they're going to take care of you, they are lying. The only reason they'll send you money is because they're taking care of themselves. That's it.
No free lunches. We're all taught that. It's very true. And on
No.
that note, gentlemen, I got to say, it's time. I got to bounce. I must leave. You
Oh,
with me?
Edward,
You can hear me?
it's been fun. It's been fun, but you got to run. It's all good.
All right, gentlemen.
It's been real,
I'll talk to you
and thank
later.
you. I'm gonna say on the way out the
Happy Columbus Day, Edward.
Get that away out the door. Happy Columbus Day. And we need to understand, we just gave you almost an hour worth of it, who
Hell
Columbus
yeah.
was. And then if you're looking for how America started, you need to look for William Bradford, not Columbus. And if you're curious about that, what is Google is a terrible place to look. It's
For anything.
absolutely
Oh,
terrible.
God, yeah.
But
For anything.
right, but
Yeah.
look to us. We can
It's
give you
Wikipedia.
all kinds of information. What do you wait? Did you just say Wikipedia? Holy shit, that's even worse
That's
than Google.
Google.
It's
Oh,
even
it's
worse.
horrible.
Nah,
No, look to us.
I think
Hey,
Google's,
no,
yeah, well, I
like
think they're tied, but yeah,
if
they're
you
both
want to send,
filthy rags.
you could DM, or you could send a message here on the podcast, or you could DM me. And these two guys that podcast with me know that I absolutely have my DMs open, and I will respond as long as you're not some sort of porn bot. But if you have questions about this, we will totally give you more information about it, and we will have more shows about it. And my DMs are absolutely available, whether it's here on Rumble. And if you want to send, we brought this out last time we were talking, JC. If you want to send the show an email, Sean Strom at Gmail is the show link, right?
And if you're worried about how to spell Sean, watch the whole damn show, and I spelled it out for you earlier, okay? And it'll be worth your while.
Sure. All right, let's close it out, boys.
All right.
Edward, you rock.
I love Edward. Absolutely love him.
Edward.
That's funny.
You guys would have never known I've been up since 4 o'clock. You're still there.
Yeah. I'm going though.
He's gone.
guys-
I guess I'll close out. All right. Tell him
Yeah,
I
you
love him.
close out. Go ahead. All right, very well.
All
See you,
right.
JC.
Bye bye.
Hey, listen. Hold on. That was the whole thing.